there is a picture of me. I have like bigger pictures. Oh shit, that's bad. No, that's bad. Oh shit, that is better. That is much better. My camera quality went to shit. And I have all the tools. I have all the tools at my disposal. I am better than Vaush in any single way. Anyway, I'm live. I'm live. I need to like tell people to go and join me. This is a nice meme, by the way. This is a real nice meme. Holy. Anyway, what the fuck. Well, anyway, I'm not seeing anyone here. This is actually sad. Well, okay, guess we'll do it complicated way. What are we going to talk about? Yeah, Messi DC. Okay, I'm not alone. I have one viewer. I have one viewer. This is amazing. Can you hear me? Yay! Holy shit! People joining. This is cool. Okay, so let me take a second. How are you doing, by the way? We have 2 people here. Yeah, 2 people. How are you? How have you day? How have you? How have your day been, guys? Tell me. How have you been doing? What do I want to talk about? Nice. It's nice to hear. It's really great to hear that people have nice days. I too had a really good day today. My ear for some reason is like bad, but other than that, I have been good today. Oh shit, Jopter. That's such a funny name. I feel bad for you, to be honest. I always have good sleeps, always. But my grandma always has bad sleeps, and I can feel it. I can feel how it can be bad. I've been learning Japanese. Why? You wanna go to Japan? Anyway, what I want to talk about is something about like negotiating and like mind controlling people, I think. I am from Ukraine. This is a fun country, like Nazi private armies, radioactive fire, foreign invasion, fun, lots of fun. But apparently we are doing better on coronavirus than America, so there is that. What was I looking for? Name of the book. How is the book called? Negotiating with let me think. I forgot my fucking book that I wanted to talk about. Never split the difference. Never split the difference. Summary. Yeah, I think it's like this, like medium thing. Is this it? No, not summary. Cheat sheet. Yeah. Oh yeah, slide. It was on SlideShare. Yeah. This is the shit. This is the shit I wanted to talk about. So this is like the secret. Holy shit! It's real nice here. Check. I want to go to check Republic to study, by the way. Like, my friend really wanted to convince me to do it, but in the end I chose to stay here. And it went well, by the way. But I'm sure your country is lots of fun, lots of great stuff. Or not? I don't know. Could you tell me? What is Czech Republic? I am the salty flavor. Always salty. Anyway, so here is like the cheat sheet, and you can look at it, and it's lots of fun. But I recommend you to read the book. In general, the book is called Never Split the Difference, and it's about negotiating with people to try to convince them. Why am I doing this? There are two reasons, basically. So first one is that Vaush has big troubles. He can't talk. He's incapable of it. What do I mean by that? Well, his problem that he admitted, to be honest, many times, is that he is incapable of, well, not incapable, he has troubles having friendly conversations and at the same time being argumentative or having any kind of disagreement. So it's either like you talk to a Nazi and you go full on blood sports, or you have a friendly person and like you just agree with everything they say. Of course, that's not like the full dichotomy, but he has trouble with it. And I think a lot of people have trouble with that too. And I think that is a really important skill for us as leftists to learn because, well, what do I mean by this skill? Essentially, fuck. Oh yes, this thing. Yeah. So what's going on is that you have two people. What the fuck? Some junk. Yeah. So with great trouble we drawn one person, we have another person. He's taller and has a big fucking dick. Okay. And so you are trying to what? You're trying to convince him. And convincing him, let this be this arrow. And that is hard. That is really hard to do, by the way. You have like, this is like, you know what I'm talking about, no? Like this is this guy, this is, shit, this is going to be TOS, what, like I don't know, like faggot? Like the OG fag, I don't know. Bundle of sticks, you know what I'm talking about. So, you're not going to bring like great political differences, you're not going to convince people on it. Or at the very least, it's hard. I'm going to talk to you how to do it. Does it sound like my control? It is. It is my control. You just talk to people and they like agree to you. They just go, okay, this is like fucking wrong, and from this day on, I'm doing this shit. Awesome. How can you do it? How does he do it? What sort of magic is that? Today, we're going to talk about it. But what Vaush usually does is that he starts to attack the person. And so this is like the big sort of my issue with him. He starts to attack the person in the hopes that his followers, so this usually happens in a public arena, his followers will distance themselves from him and they will go to his side because they will be convinced that he is a bad person and well, why stick with that guy? This guy is clearly better. We're going to join the other side. And this tactic seems to work, but I have an issue with it. Is chat here, by the way? Or am I talking to like, no matter, it's going to be a YouTube video anyway. So what's the issue here? I think like there was a video of President Sunday, I think, the YouTube channel, and he outlined a bit of a problem, a bit of an issue with this. One possible issue is that this might not happen. And maybe this just never happens. It's possible. We don't have any data on it, but I think it's quite likely that when Vaush does this, it just does nothing. I have a suspicion that his debates, his argumentative debates, they don't bring like Nazi audiences or fascist audiences over to his side. I suspect that his other like ramblings and stuff, and his YouTube channel where he deconstructs like Ben Shapiro and stuff, they might do that, but his debates, I'm not sure so. Why? Because when like you're arguing with a Nazi and you're arguing with Nazi arguments, and his audience is probably all like I can draw like the swastika, but I can draw, you know, they are here. They are fascists. They just oh well, I know I can draw an American flag because all Americans, they are fascist. That's true, you know. And they have 1 star. Yeah, 1 star. That's the rating that America gets from me. Anyway, so what's the problem? The problem with this is that, well, we have an audience full of Nazis and they hear a person attack a Nazi. And I think it is unlikely that such an audience would just switch sides. Why? Well, because they have the same arguments. They have the same worldview. And so, like, if you attack this guy, he probably will never be convinced by an attack. And by the way, big fucking secret, I don't think people are ever convinced by a personal attack. I have never seen it, and from what I've heard, it just doesn't work like that. And the issue is like the audience might identify with the person on like a big level, and so they might do this instead of this, and they might come up with also sort of justification why he was like, "Oh, he's the little liar. What a fucking liar. He just made this communist Jew bullshit up, and he's just not going to do anything." And this is especially like an issue if we're going to start to try to take on like more like regular conservative crowds or like going big. I think this is going to be a big issue. And also this was a big issue when you are not trying to convince an audience and you are trying to convince an actual person. If you're trying to do this, like this is just doesn't work on a singular person. This only works if you have an audience. So, like, for example, when Vaush contacted Destiny and they had their debates, like, sure, Vaush got an audience jump because he crushed Destiny, and this is all epic and cool. But the problem is that Vaush did not want to do it. He wanted to convince Destiny, as he said. And quite often it happens that he engages a big public figure, and he wants to like convince them. He wants them to be a leftist. He wants them to continue the big work. And so if you're trying to do a personal attack, it's not going to work. But you have big disagreements. Like they're, you know, want to kill black people. I don't know. So what do? How do you like convince a person without attacking them? And this is what we're going to talk about today. I don't know how many hours this introduction was. I think it's really fucking big, but whatever. I don't know. It's good. I'm always good. So, okay, we take a look at this. What do we see here? I was planning to like prepare like a speech or something, but whatever. Vaush can do it without preparation. I can do it too. So what this like sacred book tells us. So the general point is that at first you want to let's draw it. Okay, so this shit, we don't do that. Okay, we have like 2 people. Okay, good. And so what do? First, we have to gather information about them. So you're trying to convince them, but first you need to do this. You need to get them to talk a lot, and to talk about issues they want to talk. This is the first step. You gather, like, you're like a spy, and you're trying to gather all the intelligence on them specifically, or on their audience, or on their beliefs. How do you do that? Well, first, why do you do that? You do that because you want to, if you want to convince a person, you want to, like, let's take an analogy like in recent times, Vaush talked about Lenin, and I think Lenin in that particular moment was kind of based. What did he talk about? You need to meet people at their level of radicalization. You need to meet people at their level. And how do you know, like, person's level? You have to talk to him. You have to figure out what he is about, what he wants, what his issues are. Yay! Somebody agrees with me. That's really good. You, Mezidisi, you are the most epic person in this world. Thank you. Okay. What the fuck I was talking about? I was talking about the fact that you need to gather the information. You need to know what the fuck he is about. Is he conservative? Is he what? Is he wants to kill black people? Does he want to like secretly marry a black person who declined him and he holds a grudge? And it, like, but you have to figure out what the fuck's going on. People are complex, and you should not underestimate this step, in my opinion. You should not go into a discussion and like go, I know about this person, everything. Like, no. You have to ask them. You have to figure out what the fuck they want, and you have to. Moreover, if you do that, that establishes a connection. It establishes a rapport. It makes people feel like you care about them. Because if you ask what they want, then people like that. People always want to talk about what they want. So you walk to a Nazi and you're like, hi, you know, like Jews have been really lately uppity. They want to do shit with you. Could you explain me, like, what the fuck, how these Negroes have been affecting your life? And obviously you don't agree with him about that, but you want to figure out why, what issues are important to him. Why is he a Nazi? Because you know, like, for example, people are worried about immigration. They worry about, but you can't just debunk immigration and expect people to follow you. You need to give them, like, you have to figure out why they're concerned about immigration so much. So, like, maybe they are in a swing state and they like lost the job due to what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck happened in the US. Like, they just blown up all the factories. I don't know. And so, like, you have to get to the root of the issue, why the fuck they are concerned about immigration, and that is going to affect. I'm not just saying like just yet. I'm just at the part about getting information. I'm just not saying what to do yet. We'll get to that. What I'm saying is you have to gather the information, and that information is going to be very important if you're going to try to actually convince a person to join your side. Because if you just like give facts that his opinion is wrong, like he's not going to be moved, because that doesn't fix his issue. Like, if he is concerned about immigration because he lost his job, and you tell him actually, I'm a scientist and know that actually immigration does not affect jobs, and like he's like, well, but that doesn't help me. What the fuck am I supposed to do? I'm still without job. And so this is first part. Let's actually talk about how you do it. So people want to be understood and accepted, based, epic and based. This is this cheat sheet talks about how you get to gather this information. Is the camera like shaking? Because my camera is really shaking and I'm not seeing it. This is weird. Actually, oh, from what I can see, my camera is holding up really well, because it's actually my cell phone. I don't know. It's like it's heating up really hard, but it's working. It's working, so I can't complain. What the fuck was going about? Yeah, you need to get to know people, and you do that. How do you do this? There are actually theory. There is secret knowledge how to do it. And so the first point is that, you know, we don't know what kind of motivations drive people, but we can get an accurate guess to start, like, moving. So people have primal urges to be safe and secure and to be in control. And from that, you can sort of try to probe and figure out what the fuck they need. Because, and that feeds into the meta narrative why you're doing it. Because if you are talking to them and you are trying to understand and accept their situation, they're going to feel secure and in control. So how you do it? You demonstrate empathy, and you show. I described this. I described this step. No need to go it. So goal reveal surprises, hypothesis assumption. Use negotiations. Okay, well, this is obvious information. So you go in, you say like, okay, this is Nazi. I think they probably want to kill black people, and we know from sociological studies that Nazis want to do it because, well, economic conditions, blah 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 blah. You test a hypothesis, and so you then get. You don't do blood sports. Blood sports, bad, wrong. Never do them. What you do is you talk to them, you gather information, what the fuck they want, and so uh, Jesus Christ, this guy is making better points than me. This feels underwhelming. Anyway, so what is actually going on? You get information about what the fuck they want. And to do that, you get them to feel safe to explain their opinions. You should not be argumentative. You should not scream at them. You should make them feel secure in control and want to talk. And so other steps would be explaining what the fuck is going on and how you do it. In the first part, I'm kind of repeating myself. What the fuck do we do actually? You always smile. Shit, I can smile, but I am real glad to have you here. So, sometimes I can do that. But I'm not trying to, well, shit, I actually am trying to convince you. Well, go without it. I'll try to smile sometimes. But anyway, so like what you do when you talk to a person, obviously, you do your confident posture, you smile, and you have nice outlook. You meet a Nazi and you just vibing. Like, how you been doing? How's the day? I've been doing great, and I just want to know your important opinions on the white ethno state and how to kill black people, and all these degenerate trans people. Like, fuck them. Anyway, so this is good. We don't have a meeting mode. This is going to go like, holy shit, this is going to get clipped so hard if I ever go public. Well, anyway, you're just vibing. You smile, uh, essentially I need to like wash myself anyway. You slow it down. What the fuck does that mean? Well, yeah, I kind of contradicted myself. You're kind of vibing, but you're taking it slow. You're not in a rush. If you're convincing a Nazi and you want to like sag on someone extremely dumb, it's gonna take time. Okay, it's gonna take like 10, 20 hours. I don't know. Maybe, possibly. But if you're going to, if you just want to change their opinion completely, like to move them to a socialist. But if you want to, like, I don't know, like convince them that maybe killing black people isn't a good idea, but you still need like tradition and stuff. It's gonna take less time, but it still takes time. You can't just like bum. Because that's his issue that is the big issue with my approach is that Vaush can invite a guy into a Collins and destroy him in 10 minutes and like get a witty comeback and it's awesome. But what I'm proposing, it actually takes a lot of time. Why? Because convincing people is hard. What are you gonna do? So what the fuck? How do you talk to people? And so what I'm doing is positive and playful. You just do it like and just vibing. If you are making actual points, if you are trying to like lay down the truth, the epic truth, you do the late night DJ voice. What it means is that you inflex your voice downwards. So that am I doing that? Yes, I'm not doing that. How the fuck do you do it? Well, what you do is you kind of you start the sentence in the upper tone and you end it in a lower tone. Why the fuck do you do it? Because when you do it like that, you sound more confident. Yeah, what last sentence was how it's supposed to be. And so, fuck, I'm actually bad at this, but sometimes I succeed. So this is a useful method to sometimes um, prove a point. So not prove a point, but like convince the person that what you're saying isn't like super crazy, and to actually like consider your positions. So you're just vibing, and then you start confidently explaining what the fuck's going on, and they just calm down under pressure. No, not like that. We're gonna get how to actually do it, but you do it in this voice, okay? Um, okay, now to the actual useful stuff. This was bullshit, to be honest. Like I never use it. But mirrors are amazing. They just solve conversations. You just learn mirrors, and you can talk to all people all forever. Just get laid and get friends, whatever. The best shit in the world. What the fuck is it? You just repeat what the fuck the person was saying. He says, I want a white ethno state. And you just say, you want a white ethno state? And she just says, yeah, these Jews, they just want to like murder everyone. And like Jews want to murder everyone? Yeah, these Jews, they motherfuckers, there is this whole conspiracy and you can't believe it. And you say, there is a conspiracy? And he's like, yeah, like, and if he's smart, he's gonna get that he's talking bullshit. I don't know, like, am I making a dumb example? I don't know. If he's smart, he's going to realize that he's talking bullshit. And that is a very useful, by the way, scenario when somebody comes in, he's really fucking on edge, like Destiny, and he has like a nuclear take, and he wants to say that you are talking shit about him, and he's so fucking mad, he's extra mad. And you just repeat the last thing he said, and like if he's smart, he's just gonna realize that like he's gonna cool down a bit. But you don't use it for that. The reason you do it is that basic essential ideas of psychotherapy. Yes, this whole thing is based heavily on psychotherapy. Just a lot of it is just taken straight up. And by the way, there is like this channel. Oh no! Oh God! What have I done? Jesus Christ! What are you doing? Why? Okay, like we have a bit of an emergency. It's gonna be solved in a few seconds. Yeah. Get the fuck out of my computer. Okay, done. So, what I was going to say is that... what was I trying to say? Yeah. There is this guy on YouTube, Healthy Gamer, I think. He is a psychotherapist, and he talks to people in the way that I'm describing, but he does not do it for politics. He does it for actual psychotherapy. But you can see a lot of methods I describe in action, and they're really good. He is amazing at it. He just reads people. He can convince people on the spot. It's amazing. I'm gonna drop him in chat. Gamer GG. Yeah, and he also does good stuff on like mental health and stuff.
We have hit miraculously like 8 weeks after we started
streaming. Yeah, you're a really good streamer. Congratulations. Whatever, fuck you. I'm bigger than you. I'm gonna surpass like Vaush, him, and Destiny, and everyone else. Fuck him. So anyway, what I was saying is he's really good. Watch him, and especially watch his videos on like mental health. They're really good. So we were talking about mirrors. Why you do them? Because this allows you to gather information, and every bit of information about your, let's say, opponent is crucial. And you cannot believe how much you can gather how much you can gather from just mirrors. Some people you can just talk forever. I'm not joking. Like I learned this and like it feels super weird, but it just helps you so much. You talk to a person and you feel like he wants to talk, and you start repeating his last words, and he just talks forever, and you don't have to do much, and you still have a great fucking time. This is just talking about like how the fuck do you talk to people, because let's be honest, like a lot of us have trouble with that. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. And so what they say insinuates similarity which facilitates bonding. So they feel like you making them feel validated through mirroring makes you seem more empathetic and understanding. Yes, that's exactly what I was trying to say, but Jupiter, he is better streamer than me. What the fuck are you doing in the chat? Just start your stream. Explain better than me. You know, you are better. You are better at this. But why the fuck haven't you done this? Shame, honestly. But seriously, thank you. You finished my point really well. So yeah, you do it in a very calm voice. As I explained, he says that like, okay, all poor people just deserve to fucking die, and you say all poor. No, you don't do it like that. You do it in the late night FM DJ voice. This is such a weird term to use, but okay, you do it in this voice, like you say, all poor. So you think all people deserve to die, and like. So what you have done is you you've done multiple things. First, you have the strawman, like steelman. You steelman his argument. You get him to feel like you know what the fuck he's talking about, and also you articulated his point further so that he might think about it. And so, by the way, mirrors alone can put you in a really like strategic advantage when it comes to negotiating. In some cases, so for example, you know your boss comes at you and he's super mad. You fucked up. Like happens to me all the time. And he starts talking about how you should repent for your fucking sins and you should just fucking die. Well, why are you even on this planet? And you just repeat what he says, and he cools down real fast. And later he comes down to something reasonable, like, could you please like work better, you know? And I agree, I should work better sometimes. So there's that. And the super useful skill. What can I say? Next, what the fuck next? Next, tactical empathy. That's important. So let's remember why we are doing mirroring, because we are trying to figure out what we want, not what we want. Nobody cares what we want. We're trying to figure out what the other person wants. And how do you do it? No, I was being hyperbolic, Mazzy. Obviously, nobody tells me to repent for this. I enjoy hyperbole. You know, I watch Destiny sometimes. He is inspiring to me. Anyway, I work at a software company, and I work from home, and sometimes I'm really lazy. So there's that. I don't tell it to anyone. Holy shit! Oh no! Like if somebody figures out it's me, somebody doxes me, I'm fucking done. Anyway. Oh yeah, important part of the mirror is that you, and this is important part. Like remember, I said you should do it slowly, and when you repeat the last words, you let the person think on the fact you just said. Like you say his last words, you repeat his words at him, and then you let him process his own information, and that is really important. You should do that. Because otherwise, you know, you say his last words and then you start spewing your own bullshit all over it. Magic stops working. I forgot about that. That's important part. Next important part is empathy. Remember, we are trying to do it because we want to gather information, and we want to gather information specifically on their feelings. So, facts don't care about feelings. Here we care about the feelings of the person we are talking to. That's tactical empathy. You try to do your best to envision their situation. If you need to, you can even ask about their situation. They feel great about it. And you try to, you try to vocalize how they feel. So you ask, for example, what you do. Like this other person was describing psychotherapy, and like I see this example a lot. Is that you are funny? You're really funny. Anyway, you are talking to a person, you use your mirrors, you learn from me, and he starts spewing bullshit about white state, and he's like, oh, this and you're like, it seems like you feel really frustrated about the circumstances you find yourself in. It seems like you feel like you don't have any control about your life. And there is an outside force that like took everything away from you. Well, I assume you talk to a fascist. And like he says, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. And so that is what you want to do. That is called tactical empathy. Wait, no, that's bullshit. That's the next point. Fuck. Okay, forget about tactical empathy. We'll get to it later. We are discussing labels. Everything I said was about labels. Labels is when you say how they feel. And so, you talk to him and he does this bullshit and you say, it seems like, it sounds like, you really feel like this. And you stop. You stop. And he's like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Or not. He might go like, no, that's bullshit, what the fuck. And that is okay. Because you are trying to gather information, you cannot completely predict the other person's feelings. And that gives you a good point to clarify yourself. So you're like, it seems like you feel really alienated from your workplace, and he's like, no, I feel fine, and you're like, okay, well, fuck. And did my chat disconnect? No. Okay, I'm back. I'm back in the chat. Back up there. So the important part to do it is, again, you pause and you do it every fourth turn. So you start with your mirrors. That's not like you shouldn't. The important part is you shouldn't be a robot. You shouldn't follow this like algorithm exactly like to the little point. You shouldn't just be certain that on every fourth vocalization you do the label. It's just you do it how it goes, but it's a good guideline. You sometimes, occasionally, you do the mirror and you get what the fuck they want, and then you label it. You explain the feelings. You bring them forward. Why do you do it? Well, we'll get later because you're trying to convince them. So what did we get from it? We got mirrors, how to use them. We got labels. Next is super spicy. We'll get to it. But what the fuck is tactical empathy? I forgot. Could you? No? Yeah. Okay. Holy shit! Why did I do it from the start? This is so much better. Fuck. Okay. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do it like this. And holy shit, this feels really good. Oh yeah. Yeah, so tactical empathy, you imagine yourself, you recognize their perspective, vocalize that recognition, you understand the counterpart's feelings, and what the fuck is the difference between this and this? Okay, so this is more like general guidelines on how to do this and this. So when you're doing mirrors and when you're doing labels, you are doing it to recognize their perspective and to tell them their perspective. So you want to try to get their feelings and you try to understand what are the feelings behind the feelings. You know what I'm talking about, right? Get it, right? You know, camera is in the wrong place. Fuck. Anyway. Mm, yeah. So anyway, we got through the tactile empathy. Why you do it is you want to. My nose is fucking itching. Fuck you guys. Fuck you all. You know what? No. Yes. Oh yeah. Oh shit. I'm back. No, I'm not. Fuck. Okay, so now I'm back finally. My return. If this is gonna get, is gonna repeat, this is gonna set my streaming career apart. But I'll try to fix it. These incidents will not repeat themselves. Take everything. Oh yeah, this shit, real good, real fucking good. Neutralize the negative. So what the fuck you trying to do? You're trying to. The mirroring is avoiding to misrepresent the person, saying that they might not be very straightforward. Well, of course, that's why you're right. That's why you combine. You don't just do labels mindlessly. You also, in my opinion, you do the other methods. You do the neutralize negative. If you feel like they are disingenuous, you try to figure out why they're disingenuous. And if you feel like you aren't sure what the feelings are behind their positions, you you try to use what the fuck? You're trying to use labels to figure out their position. You don't just use mirrors. That would be my solution. And also we'll get about lying pieces of shit. If you're just lying, why would you lie? If they are just lying, we're going to talk about later in the stream about why people would be lying and how to get around liars. We're going to talk about that. Don't you worry. Anyway, so neutralize negative is you try to figure out what the barriers are. You try to figure out the sort of the antagonisms that people may hold towards you. And you label them. You do the labels, but about yourself. Why? And that is a real effective tool. That is like the kill shot. About like usually with like dishonest types and the bad faith types and the people who are super angry. That's how you deal with them. Okay, and the next step. The next step is very similar, but it also works. So you try to diffuse sort of the anger, the preconceived notions that they have about you. So, for example, let me think about an example. So, when, for example, Vaush was talking with Destiny, he might say something like, "Look, I know you feel like I misrepresent your opinions," and then you pause and give him an opinion to sort of instantiate it, what he was talking about. Is he actually mad at him for that, or is he mad about something else? You give him an opportunity to respond. And so, if you see a person that is like mad at you, or like, yeah, you get what I'm talking about, you label that feeling. So, then you redirect it. Um, do you actually do it? Do we redirect? I don't redirect. That's you. I forgot it. Do we do that? Okay. So you redirect their feelings towards something productive. How the fuck would you do it? well, you say like, look, I know I'm an asshole. Uh, you can't say I'm an asshole, but I need to do it. But that is a bad argument. Um, how would I put it? Let me think for a few seconds. Come up with an example. Yeah, I know. Like, because I'm not as good at it as Vaush is, and because I try to stream. Like, probably if I was, if there's gonna be a YouTube video, this is gonna get cut like crazy. Holy shit, this is such a mess. You're right. But I'm a good boy. Like, I do good things, so you kind of have no choice. Lol. Wait, am my camera off? Holy shit! Holy shit! My camera was off this whole time. Fuck. Now is the time to do the Joker expression. All you eat is a little posh. Yeah, it was intentional for a minute, then I was supposed to turn it back on, but I forgot, apparently. Or I did not, like, what? Yeah, what the fuck? I don't get it. Whatever. I'll figure it out later. First stream, some blunders, some fuck ups. That's okay. That's fine. Look, I know my streams are bad, but I think I articulate a really good point that I have to get it across as soon as possible. Yeah, I was being hyperbolic. It was off for like a few minutes. I don't know, like 5 or 6 minutes after I turned it off. But still, it's bad. Thanks, Chopper. It's really important. Like you three, there are like two guys. Holy shit! No, is it literally two guys? Holy shit, that's nice. You two are the OG Horizmi streamer gang. This is awesome. Anyway, I don't know. It's gonna be like to every stream title is gonna be like Horizmi, Jopter, Mezzy Dizzy. Awesome. Is it Mezzy Dizzy? Mezzy is Dizzy. Mezzy Dizzy, Jopter, and Mezzy Dizzy. That's how you're called today. Okay. Um, anyway, what we're getting at today. We have a perfectly balanced. I need to do something about this chat. It's fucking disgusting. Holy shit. Holy shit. White chat. We need to do a white genocide in this chat. Holy shit. You can't see anything. This is. Who designed this chat? It's like it's designed for like some streamer to play League. I don't know. It's not useful for my purposes at all. Anyway, um, what I was going to say, I am really glad that we have a perfect balance of genders in my audience. One boy, one girl. I assume. Jopter, today you are a boy. I'm sorry. Sometimes leftism requires a sacrifice. I don't know. Maybe you are a boy. Anyway, what happens, in fact, is that we neutralize negative, like I did some seconds ago, but how I fucked up. This, by the way. Well, today, that now you say it because I said it. Obviously, now you can't just deny that you're a boy. We know what you are. We know. Uh, um, anyway, like I can see you guys, and hopefully you can see the chat too, like in your stream stuff, in your Twitch stuff. But holy shit, this chat! Can I do it like I don't know, like nah, it stays like it. Oh, No, this is still bullshit. Okay, we're just gonna live with it. Anyway, so what we're getting at is that you do the negative. You say like, okay, first instrument is the mirror. You say what the fuck they were saying. Second instrument is the label. You summarize what they were saying into their feelings. You say, it seems like, based on what you just said, that you feel this, this, and this. And the neutralizing negative is that if you feel like they have a barrier, that they don't want to talk about something, or they think you are an asshole, or they just super mean to you, or you feel like they're, like Hassan. What the fuck Hassan was saying? What a liar, dude! What? Weasy little liar! If they do that, you do the neutralizing negative. You say, look, I know I look like a liar. Maybe I lied a little. But I did it to better the humanity in this, this, and this. And I think we should work together, despite the differences, to, I don't know, like, what would Obama say? Like, kill brown children? Yeah, kill brown children. Super. Okay. Um, so, we did this process. You don't need to fucking know the process. You can read it yourself. Accusation audit. This is really similar to this. What's the differences actually? I don't know. How is that different from that? I just use them interchangeably. At the end of the day, by the way, what I'm talking about, it's like 5 hour stream on like stuff. That's because I'm a hot mess. At the end of the day, super simple stuff. You repeat things people say, you summarize it, and you summarize it, but if they're mean to you, that's it. But I'm trying to get like the nitty gritty little details, So when you get the conversation, okay, this is a little bit different, is that the neutralized negative, you do it when you discuss and when you start seeing the barriers. Accusation audit, you get it first. You get it first. When you get into a conversation and you have a contention, like you get into the discussion with a I don't know, like a conservative, and you are a filthy little communist. And what you do is like you put it all on the table. Say, look, I know I'm a communist. I'm a dirty like fucking degenerate, and I don't know, suck horsecock, and I know all that stuff. I know this is super bad, but I think we should talk about this, this, and this because this is important. You start by listing the worst fucking things they can throw at you. I know there is a rumor I'm a pedophile. I know there's such thing exists. And then you start use labels strategically to reinforce it. I know you. It's likely that you all feel like I'm a pedophile. But I think it was taken out of context. And actually, my position is this and this and this. Because no, yeah, you just don't use. I understand that is okay. Never use it. They say so. I don't know why, but they say so. Don't use it. Fuck this word. Just nuke it. And so why you do it? Actually, what is the theory behind it? The theory behind it is that people love throwing like witty stuff at you, love throwing insults, but they can't throw an insult at you if you already said the insult. That's the big game. Because think about it, like if you like say things about yourself in most degrading manner, and you don't actually agree with it, you say that's what they feel. Like you say, I know you feel like I'm a piece of shit. You don't actually agree that you're a piece of shit. You just say what they feel. But because you say what they felt, they cannot say it. Like they can't double down. It doesn't look good, rhetorically speaking. So you say like, I know that you feel like sucking cock is degenerate, but we all do it. And so they cannot double down on it, really, because they would look mean. If they do it first, they look heroic and they look like they're putting down a piece of shit. If you're doing it after you say it, they look like a piece of shit. So that is like the secret secret replacement of the white people. Ba-da-ba-ba. Anyway, start with no. This is the shit you do if you need to get their attention. So, like for example, you're writing an email to Vaush, and you want to write a really funny, like not funny, but you want to like really clickbait him because you want his attention. I'm not a big fan of it, but you know, like people can do whatever the fuck they want with sexuality. I know I'm not based, not gay, not awesome, but you know, people should be the way they want to be. Anyway, what I was saying is that this shit, you do it when you want to get people's attention, when you want to bring them back into the conversation. If you like, you start losing it. Because this way, well, essentially, like, let's get to the start. People will, in my opinion, I'm extrapolating on this theory a bit. But people will continue to talk to you as long as they feel safe, secure, and in control, and they feel like talking to it furthers this goal. And so, if you do this strategy, you increase their feeling of control, and as such, you increase their interest in participating in discussion. So, for example, you want to get Vaush's attention, and you say something like, "Do you want to lose all your subscribers?" And like the reason you do this is because you want them to say no. Because saying no feels good, feels like you're in power, feels like you're cool. You say no to the power, but in reality, you design the question in a way that they feel obligated to say no. So, you know, really sneaky tactic. And so there are other reasons to do it. This is what I was talking about email magic, by the way. By showing that you understand the psychotherapy, you also taught to come across as a friend that fully accepts the person for who you are. Validating poor behavior is a bit too much. Yeah, I agree. But on the other hand, this isn't like a this isn't psychotherapy. We're trying to make the left win. So like I'm trying to adapt the strategies of psychotherapy to political advocacy here. But still, the principle holds. So don't use I understand. Because actually, you do not want to agree with everything. You do not want to be a yes man. We are doing it to gather information and then use this information to like encourage proper behaviors. We are not here to make them feel like killing black people is good. We are just doing it to get to know why the fuck they want to do it. Anyway, so well, a good example that I started about saying no is email magic. You construct the title of the video or the this is, in my opinion, the best way to do clickbait. You construct the title of the email or the video in such a way that people have to respond no. They do not want this bullshit. They don't like it. Do you want to just fucking kill yourself? No, of course not. I have to watch the video now. So this is a good way to bring people's attention, and you channel the same sort of strategy into your conversation. So what you do not want to do in a discussion is you don't want people to just agree with everything you say, which is, in my opinion, one of the things Vaush, I'm calling him out again, did bad with Destiny discussion, because the live one. There they just agreed with everything. Like Jobter says, they were like friends and they always understood each other. It's like really cool. But there was no confrontation actual. And I'm not saying blood sports. I mean anything like discussion on like moving people to one side or the other. Why does that happen? Because for a number of reasons. Because first, people do not really like saying yes all the time. So if you construct your question in a way that people constantly reply yes, you walk in a debate and you say, "Do you want to help people?" And he says yes. And he's like, do you agree that equality is generally good? And he says yes. And you do it 50 times, and people just don't fucking like it, to be honest. And so occasionally, to bring up the attention of a person, you have to construct your question in a way that he has to say no. Then he feels in power. He doesn't feel like he's being manipulated into saying yes, even though that's exactly what you're doing. And also, in general, you want to figure out all the no's in a discussion. What people aren't comfortable with. You ask him, do you want to have real hard sex at this moment? It's a good thing to ask before you do it, Why? Because different types of yes answers are sometimes bad, because there are three types of yes answers. You ask them like, do you agree that equality is good? He says a counterfeit yes. It's a fake yes. He doesn't want to look like an idiot on the stage, And so he says, yeah, of course I love black people, which is, by the way, something that JLP does, which is a bad tactic. Like, he's not convincing anyone with his bullshit. So he says, do you love black people? And he corners people into saying yes, and people don't like people don't like it. People don't like it. People don't feel like you're genuine when you ask it. So while it might be an effective rhetorical strategy, if you're trying to do, this bullshit. But if you're trying to do what I'm talking about, if you're trying to convince people, JLP is not a good example. Sorry. What would it? Okay. Something that might work better at the start. Like, I'm fixing JLP as we do, as we are talking. He might say, do you hate black people? Hi, I am back. I can see that I'm back on like the recording software. Anyway, this first stream, I was warning people that I like essentially what I did for this stream is like I picked different parts of computer hardware that I found under my bed that I inherited from my family. And so like I did not know if it's gonna work perfectly, and this microphone it's not working perfectly. I'll be honest. Sometimes it just turns the fuck off, which is really annoying when I'm talking to my boss and trying to explain why she shouldn't fire me, and like all of a sudden he just can't hear me. But you can fix it. I fixed it. And we can move on and discuss the beautiful ways in which we can mind control people and get them to sleep with you. Anyway, so anyway, well, the way you do it is you get them to say no. You say like, do you want sex? They say no. Okay, they want to have sex. Anyway, end of stream. I explained everything. Why? Because when they say yes, sometimes they actually mean no. So what's the fucking point? Because there are three types of yes. They might, as I said, they might do it to. I'm sorry, I'm being a bit hyperbolic. Don't actually rape people, that's bad. But what I was trying to say is that there is a counterfeit yes, which is what Nazis do when they don't want to look like Nazis. There is a confirmation, which is what people say when they kind of like agree with your position. Which this is what liberals say. The fucking libs, the libs. They do it all the time. Like you ask them, do you want to do something about global warming? They say yes. Yeah, and they actually do want to do it. But that is not a commitment. They're not actually gonna. Yes, rape is indeed bad. We stopped rape. Well, you, Maziz Dizzy, Jopter, me together stopped rape. Excellent work. On the next stream, we are stopping racism. This shit, we're gonna be done with it. In a few streams, we're just gonna fix all the problems. No, actually, next stream is probably gonna be calling out Lenin, but anyway. I mean, we'll get to racism at some point, but I just assume that most people know racism, but actually they don't. But in the future, racism is hard, actually. We might get some time to it. But rape, we have defeated it. It is done. Should I change the title? Yeah. For the clickbait. Calling out Vaush, rape is bad. Holy shit. Wait, what the fuck? Anyway, it's gonna update some point. I changed the title to be more clickbaity. Anyway, so what I was talking about, liberals do this bullshit. They say like they want to do shit, but they actually don't do it. And for example, Destiny, who is a big fucking liberal. He's a big lib. He's an omni-liberal. Notice how he does this bullshit. He confirms everything. He says like, yeah, we're gonna do this. But he doesn't fucking do it. Because, you get people to say yes, which is what Vaush did. He sort of explained his position. And Destiny agrees with him. But it's a confirmation yes. It's not counterfeit yes, he is honest about it, but it's a confirmation yes. He doesn't actually commit to it. And you have to get, at the end of the day, like this is a book about negotiation, and in negotiation you have to get people to commit to do it. You have to get an iron deal that is actually going to happen, because like people can talk bullshit all day long. Which is why liberals bad. Rape bad? Liberals also defeated on this stream. Absolutely fucking done. No, Destiny destroyed in this debate. Feels good. Anyway, what you want to get is a commitment, yes. And one of the good ways to get this commitment is to get them to say a bunch of no. And so you kind of like what would be a good way to get a commitment out of Destiny? Let's think for a second. That felt good. The way you would do it is you get him to say no. Like one of the ways, like how would I design a question? It's like, are you willing to sort of, if we agree that revolutionary rhetoric is important, you might say, do you agree to do it on your channel? And if he says no, then you can discuss why, and it's a productive discussion because you get him out of the confirmation. And if you then say like, okay, or you might say, okay, do you agree that you will not like talk shit about lefties? Or he says, well, I can't do it. Some people are shit. I have to talk shit about them. But then you can say, okay, well, can we like talk together and design parameters by which you will stop shitting on leftists. And you say, okay, maybe you should do this, this, and this, and this is how. You have to sort of you have to imagine what you have to imagine. I don't actually know how to do it properly, but the way I would do it is I would try to feel the confirmation and try to just bomb them with no's to get them to figure out why are they not committing to an action. Because at the end of the day, what you want out of a discussion is for them to agree to do something. You want them to agree to say that communism is good. You want them to agree to say that trans rights, for example. This is why this is the whole point of this fucking stream, is to teach you how to get this kind of yes out of the person you're talking to. And one of the ways you're doing it, to conclude it, is to get them to say no. Say some bullshit that they're not going to agree to, and you want to get them angry, and you want to get them say fuck you, no, I'm not doing it. This makes people feel like they're powerful, and it gives you more information about what they actually want. So based epic step, do it always. Start with no. Email magic, I explain. Anyway, so this is a good important thing about psychotherapy. Jobter might agree with me on this. Is that you don't want the person to agree with you. This is actually bad. Guys, are you here? I feel lonely. I feel like I'm addicted to streaming now. I want to feel like constant reinforcement that I'm always good. Okay, everyone's left. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm gonna do it into a YouTube video. Oh shit! People are still here. This is good. Well, what I was talking about is that you don't want to get people to agree with you. You want to get people to to come to a conclusion on their own, to the conclusion that you want, which is pretty fucking hard, to be honest. But sometimes you can do it. Because if you really want a person to not do the confirmation and you want to do him a commitment, you want him to agree with to build what Vaush was talking about. By the way, let's remember what Vaush was talking about. Is that people, the way you build arguments is that you have your axiomatic values, and you build like a bridge from those values to the conclusions that they have to do. Am I making any sense? Not necessarily. Okay, let's think. How would be the best way to explain it? Well, anyway, what I was talking about is actually bullshit, and the real reason you do it, the real reason, is that when people get spoon-fed like step-by-step solutions, they might say confirm, but you have no guarantee that they're going to commit. And so one of the ways you want to do it is by getting them to say that they came to this conclusion. And so the way they're going to do it is they're going to say that's right, and they are not going to say you're right, in general, as a rule. But not necessarily you want to get them. This is the end, essentially, of the first chapter. What you want to do is you want to gather information. You want to do it using mirrors. You summarize the mirrors using labels. You do you run away like a bitch boy from all their criticisms using neutralized negative and accusation audit. You say, I'm a bitch boy, I'm an asshole, but let's work together. And then they say, okay, I can't insult him. Okay, I have to be good faith. So you've done amazing work. Then you do a bunch of no's to understand, really hone in, you're a missile and you want to get what the fuck he actually believes. You use no's to get like what he actually wants. To sort of in the end, you get what your goal is you want to get a clear picture of this person's emotions and the reasons they are doing the same things they're doing and what they actually want from this world, which is very useful if you're trying to convince people. And in the end, you want them to say that what you said is right. Well, not like that. You want them to say that what you said is right, but you don't want them to feel like it came from you. You want them to feel like it came from themselves. So the way you construct it, well, as we said, we have like mirrors and we have labels, and you want to use labels in such a way, and in the end, you summarize your labels. I don't see this step, by the way. This is bullshit. What the fuck is this step? What the fuck? This is like. By the way, we're going to skip a lot of it in the end because a lot of it doesn't actually apply to political advocacy. But in the end, what you want to do is you want to use like a final label, the boss level label, is you want to summarize. You want to, in the end, you want to construct a big label to describe their position, their final meme, their final desire to affect change in the world. And so, well, you're going to, in the end, like to put in a few sentences, like their ideology and what they want to see in the world. So, for example, you want to abolish the federal government because this is going to allow you to sell more cocaine. Good political ideology. I mean, I can respect it. So, meh, 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 meh. How do I move from this point to this point? Okay, so this is the way you summarize it. I think I sort of explained it. Yeah, okay, it's fine. I explained it. Effective pause. Yeah, so let's summarize what the fuck we were talking about for like, holy shit, 1.5 hour. Important way to talk is you give them room to talk because you are trying to get them to talk. So you say your epic mirror, you give them breathing room to actually talk. I said it last it again because now we're summarizing. And if they talk for a long time, you sometimes say that you see what the fuck they're talking about because you don't want to do this bullshit like you're doing to me, like then where you sit and you don't actually know if you're there or not. Like it's fine if I'm a streamer, I can live with it. But if you're trying to convince people, that's bad. And then you do the mirrors. You do your labels. What the fuck is paraphrasing? Why the fuck wasn't before? Guys, you need to, if you actually want to do it, you need to read the full book. But reading books is bad, and you know, I can sympathize when Vaush says it. So I'm doing like a really shitty version of the book, but I'm talking, so it's okay. And maybe some people will learn from it. You paraphrase, repeat in my own words. Wait, that's not labeling. That's that. This step was there. Not neutralize. That's right. Yeah. So this I don't get the difference between paraphrase and summarize. I know that is why you're awesome. Is Dizzy. You are a really good girl. You are a girl. Yes, you're awesome. Anyway, I forget people's names and who the fuck they are really easy. So I'm really proud that I remember who you are. Anyway, so a paraphrase. So you do your mirrors, you do your labels, and in the end you kind of say like, so you want to do this, this, and this because this, this, and this. And then they say no. And that's exactly what you want to do. And then you say it again, 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 and you get a bunch of no's and a few yeses, and that is how you know that their position is correct. And then in the end, when you know your position is correct, you get a final meme. You say, okay, so it seems like you feel this, this, and this because people did this, this, and this. And that is why you want to do these things to fix the world. And they say, that's right. They don't say you're right because that's not what you're saying. That's what they say to you. You don't want to like put bullshit there that's like your own, but they also agree with you because they have to agree with it because that is the standard of society. You don't want to like be a weaselly little liar. Here, you want to put exactly what the fuck they were talking about and put it back at them. And the reason you're doing it is because you want to get their sort of their opinions and stuff. Okay, this I'm calling out liberals. Liberals, libs. They're doing it. They're doing it all the fucking time. Why? What the fuck I'm talking about? Compromises are bad. They're really bad. Don't do it ever. Don't compromise. Why would you compromise? Well, the reason you compromise is because you believe that like you're not going to agree on anything, but at least if you pick the middle solution, you kind of like fix something. But well, what if you're talking to a Nazi? What, you're going to compromise with them? Like what? We kill half the Jews? What the fuck? Bullshit. You can't do it. And by the way, what if you're talking to a conservative? You know, like you have like your degenerate USA, and like you live there, and you have the like Republican Party. You walk to them, and you're like, guys, let's compromise. You know, we want like an epic nationalized healthcare, but you know, you want your bullshit, and like we can agree that like do this, and like this half-assed solution, and this is what Obama did, and it's fucking bullshit. All right? Can we agree on it? Obama, trash. Because he compromised. And what the fuck else do you do? Well, we're gonna talk about it. A little genocide, you know, like you can have a little. Obama endorsed a little bit of genocide. Clip me that I'm actually correct on this one. So you know, you can't clip it. That's exactly what he did actually. So yes. So he gives an example: one black, one brown shoe, because you know there are some things you can't compromise. So in the end, like this is also why left unity is a bad meme, because fuck, you know, you have like anarchists, you have tankies, like, you have a little bit of a state. It doesn't work like that, okay? Nobody's gonna agree that it's gonna be an awful solution that doesn't help anyone, because what you need to do is you need to do a synthesis of the two things. You need to do the negation of the contradictions. You need to be dialectical. Okay, this is for all the tankies in the chat if they're ever gonna show up. No, they love these terms. This tanky ASMR. But that is actually like we're doing a dialectic here. And that is how we resolve like our conflicts, and that is how we change people's minds. So you know, mortal science of Marx, maybe a little bit of Lenin. Here we can mortal science of Marxism, a little bit of Leninism. Deadlines, bullshit. You can read it on your own, but I mean, it's not bullshit, but it's not relevant to changing people's opinions. Okay, so this is how you use FAIR. FAIR is a really good way to get people to agree with you. You say like, I don't know, you talk to a conservative and you say, but do you think it's fair that a woman like has to feed her child and like her life is fucked up and so abortion is good or something like that? But there are good ways to use it, there are bad ways to use it. And so there is actually like a really small way to use it good, and like most of the way people use it is bad. Um, but you have it's a mm, deadlines. This book is about negotiations. So what he was talking about is that when you are negotiating for like a good deal, for like a salary or something, people can push you when they say, okay, like time is running out, and actually like you should understand that that's bullshit. And you should sort of put pressure on them by saying my time is running out, but actually you know your time isn't running out, and this gives you more breathing room to come up with a good solution while you put emotional pressure on them. But here I just don't see how that works. Like I guess if you're debating someone, you can like get them to agree to some position when you say like our time is. I just don't. No, I'm trying to adapt this book. I'm not trying to explain it. So some things I'm just going to throw out. Um, so some people will try to use fair at you, like to do what I just said. So some people like I don't know what the fuck is. Okay, yeah, perfect. Do you think it's fair to take away what people have taken their blood and soil to earn? Like, how the fuck do you expropriate the fucking landlords? They earn their houses. This is not fair. So this is like something you might encounter. Um, and when you get it, you say, you know, you do a sneaky tactic. You say like, okay, I apologize. Like, let's like talk about what do you feel is not fair about this discussion, and we can like try to talk about it. And but you don't actually concede this point because when you will talk about it, you will actually push the point that what they're saying is bullshit. But here, when they say that it's not fair, you have to do a bit of a back off and agree to discuss it in further details to not raise the antagonism. Because that is what, well, that is essentially accelerationism, in my opinion. You try to uh, raise the stakes, raise the emotional stakes when you bring up fairness into a discussion. Um, this I don't think is relevant, to be honest. This is far more likely to be used. I guess like when you are in a Senate and you're discussing healthcare with conservatives, they might say, "This is like the fairest offer we can give you. You know, you're not taking away private insurance or whatever." And what you say is you call them on the bullshit. No, why do you say it's fair? You say, yeah, could you provide evidence? Why do you think it's fair? And like obviously, like then you get into a discussion why private businesses should not exist, and that's exactly what you want. Um, and the way you use it, that's how bad people use it. I don't think like that's something. As far as I remember from the book, they say to not do these two things. And the positive way is what Destiny does. When he enters into a discussion, he says like, I want to feel like you're being treated fairly. So if you feel like I'm doing some Weasley tactic, to feel free to stop me and to tell me that I'm being unfair, and we can discuss it. This is like exactly, holy shit, this is exactly Destiny's point, verbatim. Some of his things are actually based, you know. That's good stuff sometimes. Extreme anchor, bullshit. Loss aversion, bullshit. Bend the reality. Okay, this is good. So, guys, we got to actual convincing. How do you actually bend people to, well, like bend the reality? How do you defy their logic? How do you break them? How do you get a conservative to be a socialist? How do you do it? We got to that finally. Holy shit. I kind of forgot how do you do it, but I'll remember as we go. Anchor their emotions. Yeah, so this is something you do, is that you prepare them for a loss because you say all the bad things. You say like, okay, I know you feel I'm a socialist, and I know you feel like we're not on the best terms, and I know that like you feel we're probably not going to agree on a lot of things. So you already prepare them that they're gonna have a shit time. Am I interpreting this correctly? Yeah, mostly. Well, you don't want to actually make them feel like shit. You don't want them to. Mm, well, okay. So this whole thing, I'm not sure like how relevant is this to normative claims about the world. What things should be done? This is mostly about negotiating prices. Like this book is about porkies and capitalists trying to outsmart each other and get lots of money, and also about convincing workers to not unionize, and um, about convincing terrorists and anarchists to drop their arms and don't do the revolution. This book was written by an FBI agent. It's kind of cringe, actually. So some of the parts we're going to throw out. Anchor their emotions. Okay, so why do we do it? We set a price first, establish a bolstering range, pivot, do not use odd number. Bullshit. This okay. I'm sorry. I started like bending reality because it's a clickbait title and I wanted to. But this whole thing bullshit because it applies only to monetary negotiations. This is really good if you're applying for a job and you're trying to get as good salary as you can. And this is really good if you're trying to get good grades. And generally in life, this is important. But for political advocacy, this whole chapter is bullshit, in my opinion. Calibrated question. This shit is the trick shot. You just point this at person. You just do it at a person, and they become communist. This is the real mind control. The secret weapon. Anyway, what you do, this is the way that you do the. So essentially, what was our dialectic? What was our contradiction? Remember, we are like dialectic materialism. What we are talking about is that, well, actually, that's not materialism, but dialectic. We have a contradiction. What are we going to do with it? The contradiction is this: we do not want to create an antagonism. We want a chill conversation because otherwise we can't convince people. But at the same time, we cannot agree with people. So what do? We need to bring up an antagonism without antagonizing the person. And the way you do it is with calibrated questions. So the way you construct a question in such a way that the listener feels like they control the situation. And that is important. They don't feel like they are forced into something. They don't feel like they are being pushed some kind of like novel idea. What they also do is like the goal is to make person believe that they are constructing a tool to help you, essentially. So like what would be a good example, like to sort of anchor you all into this discussion? What you do is like, for example, you're talking to like fucking Sargon or something, or you say like, what do you think would be the best way to help workers not suffer? It's a great calibrated question because like it is kind of loaded, yes, but you kind of want it. You want it to be loaded, and the trick with such a loaded question is you have to essentially is with the tone of the voice. You have to say it in a way that doesn't imply that you're being smart, that doesn't imply that you are trying to corner a person. You are trying to be sincere. You put your actual belief, and like it would be actually you want to construct this question. So for example, the example I gave is not very good because it assumes your positions. And what you actually do is, well, yeah, yeah, I know about him. I did not know that he used those tactics, but hey, hey, holy shit! I'm gonna put it in the title. How to convince KKK members to fucking stop. How do you do it? Watch my stream. Ah, this is good. This is really good. Thank you, Rostafarian. Thank you. This is a really good point. Uh, anyway, what I was talking about is that you suspend the disbelief, suspend unbelief, yes. So what you want to do is, so instead of the question that I asked, which is how do you make workers not suffer, you do all the bullshit that I talked about earlier. What, like this list, where was it? This fucking list. The mirroring, the labeling, you get all of their beliefs. And then you phrase these questions in their belief structure. So for example, what the fuck Sargon cares about? He cares about his England, I think, but English people, if I remember correctly. And so you say to him like, we have like these like fucking globalists, and we have like the EU, and we have like these Weasley internationalists that want to exploit British workers and like push like fucking all this bullshit on them, and they don't give them Brexit because Brexit is epic. And what do you think would be the best way to help English people? And then you get the discussion. And when they say the answer that you don't agree with, what you do is that actually, so for example, he starts talking about bullshit. You say like, what do you say? He starts talking bullshit, and then you you then push the question again in a way that would sort of bring up the internal contradictions about what he's talking about. So then you ask him the question, what would be the best way to help English people? And so you frame the whole discussion in a way that he is emotionally invested in. Because he wants to help English people. And so he says like something like stupid like ban immigration, and then you start pulling out the sources. You say, but I heard that this and this and this, and so I'm not sure that's the best way to help English people. What do you think of this? And so again, you frame it in a way as to keep the person in control. He is designing a solution. He is designing socialism in his head. So then ideally he would say like, he would say, okay, so like if that isn't what we're going to do, like how would we do it? And then you drop data. Okay, so I heard that like cooperatives do this, and this. And so he says like, and then you ask him, do you think this would be a good way to help the economy or sort of help the English workers? And then he says like no. And then you say, okay, what would be the issues about how can we solve this problem? And here's like a good selection of questions that you can use. What makes you ask? Okay. And then he says some shit that he disagrees with. You present him with a solution. He says like na 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 na, and you said how can we make it better for you? Or you say how would you like me to do it? So you get the gist. You ask him a question, but you do it in such a way as to frame it in him creating a solution. So essentially the point isn't to provide him with the data and he just goes, okay, I saw the data, then socialism is good. You say, you frame the discussion in a way that he tries to create the best solution for the problems that he sees, but you you calibrate the discussion, you calibrate the questions in such a way that his solution will inevitably be socialism. I think I said it pretty well. Did any of you understand what I said? So the important thing is like you use with how, you use what, and you don't use fucking why. You don't state shit. You don't present facts because you want him to to move in a direction that you want him to move. You don't want to force to jam information into his throat. So words like can, is, are, or do, or does. So the words that explain how the world actually works, you don't do that. You want him to find out how the world works in your discussion. Vaush destroyed. Vaush is not a good rhetorician. These words say it. Avoid angry emotional reaction. Nice meme. Nice meme. Anyway. Only use why when defensiveness it creates is in my favor. Okay, this is good. You don't ask why questions in general. Don't do it. You ask why only when you want to get a no, essentially. So remember, like we were talking earlier, that sometimes you want to get a no. In this part, when you are sort of working with him on the calibrated questions, sometimes you throw in a why because you want him to feel stupid. Essentially, you want him to say no because what the conclusion he's coming to are wrong. Why would you ever agree to a solution that would severely harm English workers? When he's talking about immigration, for example. Wait, no, I'm talking bullshit. That's not. Holy shit, no. Cut. The reason you do it is a completely different reason. The reason you do it, so for what they say, why would you ever change from the way you're always done things and try my approach? Okay, this is a rhetorical question. When you ask why, you do the opposite of a calibrated question. You do a calibrated question that leads him to his solution, but in a way that makes him recognize that his solution is bad. So, I mean, it sounds like a loaded question, but the whole fucking point of the calibrated questions is that they are loaded with your big fucking load. Well, essentially, this is a good example. Why would you ever become a communist? It's a good question. Because, well, the information he provides would be useful to construct further calibrated questions. You know, you say, or well, like one good example would be, let's create an example. Quick. What the fuck are you doing? Why would you? No. So you're trying to pinpoint his position. No. My example is stupid. Okay. This is a good example. The theory I explained is good, but the example I was trying to do is not applicable. Forget it. It's bad. Oh, holy shit. Guys, this is a fucking kill shot. This gets you through like half of your life. Holy shit, this is like, people need to know this. This is the cheat codes. This whole fucking stream is about cheat codes to your life in general, but this helps you so fucking much. You know, people like try to make you do something, you don't really want to do it, or you can't do it. You just ask them how am I supposed to do that? How do I do it? For example, like a fucking Nazi breaks into, you get doxxed. Nazi breaks into your house. and he just comes in and like he just spouts bullshit and he says like, give me your money. Give me your money or I kill your wife, for example. But you don't want to give him money. Money is good. Money is good. And your wife is also good. He's got big titties. So what do? Contradiction. How do we solve it? You just say, how am I supposed to do it? And then you force him to, well, you do a couple good things actually. First, you force him to think about your position. You force him to empathize with you and with your position. The first part of the discussion, we were empathizing with his position. Okay? Here we jerked off his dick. We made him talk about how he feels and like how important his feelings are. By the way, always do this if you're talking to Ben Shapiro, because feelings, like as we see about this whole fucking discussion, feelings are what fucking drives this world. Because facts don't fucking matter. Well, what are facts? Nazis exist. If Nazis exist, why do facts exist? Honestly, like, what's the point? What I was talking about is the first part. We jerk him off. We empathize with him, but here I turn it around. This is the second part. Second part, we force him to empathize with your position. And one of the ways you do it is you ask, how am I supposed to do it? For example, a really good example. You know this argument? The argument of Sargon of Akkad? About why you shouldn't start a co-op. By the way, I think Vaush should start the co-op, but I'll talk to him sometime about it. Not for the reasons that those fucking degenerates ask it. But anyway, he should consider it. Maybe it would be better. But what I was talking about, and I think he does actually, but that's another discussion. The reason I'm talking about is when, fucking disgusting, conservatives, they wanna bad faith you, and they wanna prove that you're a fucking hypocrite, because they don't have arguments. And so they say, why would, they hit you with a calibrated question. They ask, why would you support socialism, but you use money or some stupid bullshit like that, And you reply to them, how am I supposed to do that? How am I supposed to start a co-op? And they give some bullshit answer, and you say, okay, but they are an independent contractor, and how am I supposed to hire it? And eventually they either tire or they realize they resolve the contradiction, essentially. Ideally. But, as we talked, this question and so isn't going to resolve it, actually. You need other, the previous steps to do it. You need to do accusation audit also. You need to make it clear that, the antagonisms that they hold against you, you need to say them. You need to put them into the clear. And also you use the calibrated questions, and this works often, to be honest. Like in my life, this is really good. How am I supposed to do that? What are we trying to accomplish? How do we solve this problem? What is it about the black people that have brought us into this situation? You know, good stuff. How? How the fuck do you do it? Only 7% of the population. Commits 78% of the tone of the voice. Anyway, what I was talking about this point, good point. Again, this is about liberals. Fucking liberals! What they do is they don't do anything. They just don't do it. They can't do it. They do the confirmation, but they don't do the commitment. They do the confirmation, they do the commitment. They are fucking lazy. How do you get them to do the thing you want them to do? You do it by You do it by elaborating on the how. And that is your end goal. You don't just want pleasant agreements that don't mean anything. You want them to agree on a concrete plan of action, and you want to discuss with them how you want to do it. And how am I supposed to do that? Eventually you're going to come down to an agreement where you agree that this is how you're supposed to do it. And so how will we know when we're on track? This is a good with Destiny, you say like, okay, so he does his like white moderate thing. He says like, okay, I agree that black people are good. I agree that revolutionary rhetoric is an important component of political advocacy. And you say, okay, how will we know that we resolve this contradiction? How will you change your rhetoric in the future to accommodate this sort of disagreement? And you nail it. You get a concrete agreement. Also, something you should keep in mind is that if you're trying, this does not apply in the internet sphere in my opinion, but this applies in the politics holy shit a lot. Because let's say you do the big meme, you come to Donald Trump and you convince him that communism is good. Holy shit, you've done it, for example. But he has Republican voters, he wants to get reelected, And so you discuss what are other actors in your team that are also involved in the decision process. You want to know how will Mike Pence feel about it? How will all the fucking senators feel about this? How will his electorate feel about it? And so when you ask these questions, you can ideally you can push from the confirmation, to the commitment. Because if you talk to Trump and he says communism is based in trans rights, that might be a confirmation. That might be a liberal bullshit, because Trump is a liberal at the end of the day. 5% of him, at least. And you want to get a commitment. You don't want to get confirmation, because you want him to write a bunch of executive orders abolishing private property or something. And you want to agree, okay, this is the first thing you do tomorrow. You're writing this executive order that will bring about class consciousness, but will not alienate your audience. The details. You want to iron down all the details in the end. So you get all the information using these tricks. You then use primarily calibrated questions to get the person to agree to your point of view. This is actually a small part. This big fucking mind control thing that can change people's opinions and will ensure the socialist revolution. I talked about it for 5 minutes about the whole stream. But anyway, in the end, you want to get actual agreement. And then, holy shit, you succeeded. You're amazing. You did your duty to the Soviet state. Well, fuck, we're anarchists. Fuck, mask off. You did your duty to the how was it called? I don't know, commune or whatever. How are we going to call our a agro-industrial federation? Yes. Job 3, yes, this is completely ripped off from psychotherapy, yes. But most people aren't psychotherapists, and I want people to use psychotherapist tactics because they're fucking useful. Holy shit. Essentially, all streamers maybe should not be should not get a degree in philosophy, no, but a degree in psychotherapy. Maybe they should do it. Maybe that's a good thing. I'm so fucking bored that I'm actually browsing YouTube. Holy shit. Anyway. I have problems with attention. Holy shit. When you're bored of your own stream. Calibrations based how? How the fuck you doing? You iron out? Maybe. I don't have an actual diagnosis, but no, probably. Probable. Highly probable. Anyway, so this is about actual advocacy. So fly great distances. Ideally, you want to talk in person. So for example, as you know, like you have a much higher chance for Destiny to like agree that communism is based when you do it in a face-to-face discussion. Let's be honest. You can pick up on, you can gather so much more information, and you can express your information much better in a way that will likely lead to a better outcome. So what he says is body language and face. You look at that shit. Well, you can read books if you're a nerd, but essentially you can just learn how to read it, I think, or just watch some videos. I don't know. And you listen to the tone of voice, and these two things lets you recognize when the person is lying, when they are like I don't know, not sure about your solution, when they are doing the liberal thing, when they are doing the like this what the fuck, like the bane of all political discussions, the confirmation, when they don't commit. How do you know when they don't commit? When they cross their legs and like their eye starts to like doing this shit, or something like that. I mock body language and face, but actually, guys, it's really fucking important. But it comes with practice. You talk to people, and sooner or later, I know talking to people. Holy shit, man. I'm asking a lot, but at the end of the day, you talk to people quite often. You will pick up on these signs. So you pay close attention to this shit. You see if they don't match up. This is how you see that they're a Weasley fucking liar. And when you see that they are fucking lying in your face, you use a label. I heard you say that communists are good, but it seemed like there was a hesitation in your voice. And to be fair, Vaush sometimes uses this. Sometimes he uses a lot of these tactics. Sometimes, but I'm trying to give all of you guys a better understanding. I feel like. And they say something, they agree, but you see that they're talking bullshit, and you say like, this is actually important. Like, let's get into the details. Let's see what with this. Do you feel like there is something wrong with this? And you let them like voice out, and you use the bullshit. Okay, so this is like probably the end of the stream. Let them get them to give a commitment. Wait, no. Fucking bullshit fucking summary. They are not true. This part is not true unless I'm misunderstanding this horribly. So first you label and summarize. You get them to agree to your characterization of their beliefs and their emotions and their desires. Then you use calibrated how or what. And then you use the calibrated questions to get a commitment, in my opinion. So I don't know what's the point of the first step. I disagree with it. You do the second step first, then you use the calibrated questions, and you use the calibrated questions to get a commitment. That's how I understand it. Yeah. To be honest, like I fucking coomed. Holy shit! This his debate with that MRA guy. It was really good. It was really good. He achieved a lot of things, and I like hot take. I think he should do it all the time. Because his reasons for not doing it all the time is he says that like okay, so if you get like a good fucking good faith actor, and he is a professional, he is an academic, and you can expect him to act in good faith, and so you can get a productive discussion. But all these other types, they are fucking demagogues, and you can't talk to them. You have to. Yeah, I'm back. I'm back. I'm sorry. I actually did not know that this happens so often. Like these are good headsets. The words I hear from them are like really crisp and stuff. But sometimes they do this bullshit. Holy shit, this is so annoying. Sometimes they just fucking die. You have to like do the like go there and like fix it and like turn them off and turn them back on, and it's annoying. But we survived. So what I was talking about, I completely fucking forgot. ADHD gang, rise up, rise up. Yeah, we forgot what we were talking about. Anyway, so yeah, so I talked about this. I kind of talked about this, that it's yeah. So if people say a lot of stuff, they are fucking lying. If they are talking in third person, they are saying like they control the world. They are saying they want to do this, and like the people want to do this, and they don't mention themselves. They are lying. And also when they design like convoluted sentences, they also lie. Not always, but you like what you do. This is part of the way that you can spot a liar. And the secret way that you, the secret way that you figure out a liar, also that is not mentioned here, is you use the calibrated question, you get them to repeat the same stuff 3 times or 4 times. If they say, okay, you're talking with a conservative, but they are Nazi, Oh, let me do this. They're fucking Nazi. And so, how do you get them to the JQ? Because otherwise, what's the fucking point? You tell them, do you believe in a conspiracy of the Jewish cabal to like fucking murder your trad wife? And he says, no, I would never say such a thing. And then you discuss a bit about abortion or some bullshit, and then you say, by the way, Jews, what's your opinion on the Jews? Like, no, that's actually kind of obvious, to be honest. But the point I'm getting to is that it's really hard for people to lie multiple times, again and again, especially if they have ADHD. But that's one of the methods you can spot a liar. Not really relevant in my opinion. You just get good at spotting liars. Read a book about it, something. That's not really what I wanted to focus on in this conversation. Use your own name. Bullshit, that's not relevant. Saying no 4 times. Yeah, this isn't important. On the internet, this is not fucking important in my opinion. My own name, not important. No 4 times. One way you can One way you can break the person, break their fucking will, is you can just say no for times. You know, they say like, I think we should get black people, and you just say no, and they say no, I think we should hate black people, and you say no, and then they say no, I really do believe that like black people they just they're just so fucking disgusting, we should kill them, and then you say no, and then they say like okay, yeah, okay, sure, let's keep black people, and you win, you know. Of course, I'm exaggerating, but the gist of the tactics is this. Yes, because it is really hard for people to like withstand this onslaught, especially if you don't just say no. Obviously, first you escalate it, which is like we talked about it out there, but I missed it. But we're gonna talk about it here. So you're slowly supposed to like. In this instance, you're supposed to slowly escalate. Have a nice time with your dog. I don't have a dog, but I hope you have a wonderful time. Have a nice day. Maisie is dizzy. You're a great person. I hope, maybe. Yeah, sure. We will meet again. Anyway. So what I was saying is that when you do this tactic, you are supposed to start with like really innocuous way to say no. Like how am I supposed to do that? Because it is the least. Bye. It is the least confrontational way of doing it. But then you sort of escalate it. You start saying like, okay, how am I supposed to do that? They say like, if you're a socialist, you should start a co-op. And you say, I'm sorry, but that just doesn't work for me. Ironwood, what am I supposed to convince you? Is this gonna be like a debate after the stream or what? I mean, I would. The reason this stream is going on, if you are new here, is that I'm discussing the tactics on convincing people. If you want to like, yeah, I'm discussing like a summary of a book and discussing specific strategies on how to convince people in the context of a political advocacy. If you want to, like, if you have like a Discord, I'm unfortunately, Ironwood, I agree with you. But first, I would try to like end this discussion and the conversation on the tactics. And to be honest, I want to take a break. I've been talking too long. My throat is hurting a little, but maybe I'll break and then we can like Ironwood. I am Khorezmi on. My name is the same on Vaush Discord. If you are there, you can add me to friends and like maybe we can talk about it later. I'm not sure we're gonna do it on stream. If you want to like have, if you are like, I don't know, if you're like a Nazi and you want to like change your mind to communism or something. But anyway, I'm not really here to like offer examples. Maybe later, but I just can't do it all in the same stream, Anyway, so what we were discussing is that one of the ways you can sort of maybe convince people is that you can say no for times. So in the example that I gave, Vaush, he is confronted with this argument. Why the fuck do you not start the co-op if you're a socialist and say, how am I supposed to do it? And Sagan, for example, says, "Oh, that's really easy. You earn a lot of money. Why don't you?" That's not how Sagan talks, but anyway, you earn a lot of money. Why don't you start a co-op? That just seems like a no-brainer. You're a socialist, and you can double down on it. You say, "I'm sorry, but this just doesn't work for me because My workers are what the fuck is the word? My workers are not my workers. They are not my workers. They are independent contractors. They don't have any relation to my work, and I don't see how that would work for me. How I would uh, hire them. Ironwood, I would say that like that's my hot take, but I think that it is a really bad method. What what I'm talking about is sort of convincing people from a position of weakness. What do you do if if you're trying to convince your boss? What do you do if you're trying to convince someone over whom you don't have any power? Because that is more useful, in my opinion, for leftists. Um, because obviously we can like if we capture like power, we can just kill all conservatives or something. I don't know. Like if you're going to violence, obviously we can convince people. That's not really what I'm about in this stream, at least. And I'm not a specialist on like forcing Stockholm syndrome. Uh, I would disagree with that. Only if they are trying to undermine the revolution. If you have actual proof and you do the due process and stuff like that, on the way you can do it. So like war tribunal, if we're talking about revolution, that would be my hot take as far as I understand how you're supposed to do revolutions. No, I'm talking about what do you do if you are a revolutionary and you capture liberals. You don't just execute every liberal you see. You do what I was talking about. You do due process. If they are liberal and they are a criminal by revolutionary standards, then you can bonk them if it's really necessary. But in general, you try to do like what I was talking about. The you try to integrate them back into society. Like for example, Soviet Union actually did a really good job when they nationalized all the factories. They put all the capital, most of the capitalists that were part of the old regime, they put them as managers a lot of times, and they could do it because they knew that they wouldn't be a threat because they didn't have any political power, but at the same time it integrated them back into society. And I think that's a really good example of how you should treat liberals in general. Careful, but don't compromise on your values, but in general you should try to integrate them into revolutionary society, unless they just do crazy shit and start like their own, I don't know, revolution, counter-revolution or some bullshit. That would be my approach. We've gone so off topic, holy shit. What I was talking about is that you should double down. Okay, I'm fucking bored of it. You should follow what they say. So, people say you should do something, you don't want to do it, you say, how am I supposed to do it? And they explain to you, you say, it doesn't work for me because what you're saying is bullshit because of this, this, and this. And then they say, like, oh, okay, but have you considered being a good person or some bullshit? And say, I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I just can't do it. And you can give your reasons, but what I'm talking about is that at the end of the day, at least in theory and in large majorities of cases, if you do it actually 4 times, you disagree with someone, eventually they just break. They just say, okay, if your offer is reasonable, this is fucking bullshit. Maybe we're gonna talk about it sometime later, but this is not really relevant in my opinion. Too relevant, at least. Type of negotiations, deflect the punch. So this is one, maybe you can adapt this to bad faith actors. No, you say, if they try to convince you of some bullshit, you say, no, like how am I supposed to do it? You deflect the whole premise because you say, for example, you say, what are we trying to accomplish here? This shifts the conversation in a completely another direction. and you pivot. And that is a good strategy if you're trying to get the best deal. If you're not actually trying, because in a debate, in my opinion, pivoting is bad because it makes you look weak. But in a discussion, you don't really care so much about looking weak. You care a lot more about convincing people on some things. And if you see that you can't really convince them, for example, on immigration, but you feel like you can convince them on not treating trans people like shit, you should move to that topic. In my opinion, you should pivot to that, absolutely. And you say, let's put off this discussion and talk about the other discussion. Or you say, like, what else do you think we can find in common? Something like that. Or you can just, so what we're discussing here is an extreme anchor. So if they say a position that's really fucking extreme, so they say like, okay, I don't, like that's actually rarely happens in like online discussions. That's like maybe Destiny does it sometimes, maybe. When he says like, okay, all poor people deserve to, oh, this was a really good Russian accent actually, holy shit. You say all poor people deserve to die because they cannot have a financial, I don't know, some bullshit like that. And you say actually no, all rich people deserve to die. And that is one way you, but I'm not, okay, I don't think that's useful. No, not useful at all. Because I am green now. I am just green for some reason. I became green. The Green Party. I okay, for a second there, I was Bernie or bust. I was with the Green Party, but now I'm with Biden. I'm back. Bye bye, job. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm. This stream got a bit too long for me. I'm not really used to like talking to a public audience, and I think and I also came unprepared. I should have prepared. I should have read this and prepared like some talking points. So this took me way too fucking long, but I think we are coming to. Fuck it. No, this is. Yeah, I think we're gonna end it here. Okay. Jobter was really good to have you here. I don't know if you're still here, but have a nice day. And I think I'm going to be ending the stream. There are some things I want to continue. That's a really hot fucking take. Because Vaush, that would contradict everything Vaush says. And actually, like, that is. No, like. Because that would be an accusation of grifting, in my opinion, what you just said. Like, I'm not sure that Vaush sincerely believes it, to be honest. Because Vaush said time and again that his whole fucking reason he is on YouTube is to convince others, and moreover, he said he accused Thought Slime of being just a performance for his viewers and not bringing in new comrades. So I would disagree with you. Like, I think maybe that is descriptively what happens. That is a hot take, that actually Vaush doesn't do any good and he only entertains his audience. But I do not think that that is what he wants to do. Which is why I'm making this video. Maybe, like, no, he's not going to watch like 15 hours, but maybe I'm going to cut it and make it into a usable form, and maybe that's going to be useful to some people. But anyway, it was really good to have you here. Yes, no, well, yes, that is his tactic, but I think you did not pay attention, you piece of shit, because I think I explained this here. Here, like, this is the diagram I was talking about. So he attacks the person he's talking to, and his strategy is that his followers will follow him. But my counter argument to that is that his followers, the followers of his opponent, will not follow him because they hold the same views. And so, in my opinion, it might be more beneficial, might bring more utility to do the things I say and not the things Vaush does. But we are creating a strategy as we go. Yeah, anyway, this is like a Q&A segment at the end because there is some things you need that are quite useful. So for example, here's how you use anger. This is bullshit. This is sort of useful. This is mildly useful. And this shit is useful. And the last point I will have to go on at some point in the future, but it's quite big. So I think I'll be ending here because holy shit, I'm not Vaush. I have a hard time talking for a long time. So maybe sometime later. Anyway, it was really good to have you here. Thank you all who came, who came to Coom. Thank you all. And I think I'll be ending this stream. Are there any other questions someone wanted to ask? Okay, I'm ending the stream. Bye bye, everyone. It was really nice to hear you. Bye. Ah!